Hi everybody, my name is Arthur and welcome to another PixelPAD tutorial. We are creating our Clash Royale light game, and last class we added the mana bar here that displays our mana for us, which is pretty cool, right? And in this class what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be dealing with the game ending. So we can either win the game when we destroy the enemy's castle, or we can lose the game whenever the enemy destroys our castle, right? So for now, there is a problem. I'll get the enemy unit here, and I'll increase the attack damage to be 100, just so we can see something happening. Actually, I'll put it 50. Okay, so what happens is, comes the first enemy, will give us 50 damage, right? So our tower starts with 100 life. So 50 damage, now I have half life. 50 more damage, I have 0 life. And then whenever the third one comes, it will give me 50 more damage. Now I have minus 50, and now I have minus 100, and now I have minus 150. So you can see that my life starts increasing. But actually it's just the scale that is negative, right? But what we want to do is whenever our castle's life is less or equal than 0, I want to go to another room, to another screen that says that I had lost the game, right? And if the enemy castle's life is less or equal than 0, then we go to a room that says that we have won the game. Okay? So I'm gonna go here inside my castle. Inside the loop tab here, I have to keep checking if my castle's life is greater or equal than 0. I mean, is less or equal than 0, right? So if self.life, so if my own life is less or equal than 0, then what we do is, so what we did for the unit was to destroy the life, the HP bar, and destroy itself, the unit, right? For the castle, what we want to do is we want to change the game screen and go to a different screen. Go to a game over screen, or a you win screen, right? But to use different screens in our game, we have to use rooms. Rooms we haven't used yet, but if you remember from the first class where I gave you an overall of the engine, I told you that rooms are different screens for our game, but we don't really need to use rooms whenever we have only one screen in our game. I'm trying to play my game and it's giving me an error now because I have this line here that is an if line, but I haven't finished yet. So what I want to do is I will just delete it for now. And we don't really need a room if we're gonna have only one room, because my game can do everything, right? But once we need more than one room, then we need to use the rooms to create different screens for our game. Okay, so let's create first the first room. So I'm gonna go here on rooms on the plus button, and I'm gonna call this room play. This is gonna be the room where I play the game, okay? So this room play should be exactly this whole thing we have here, our game, our entire game. But for now, our entire game is inside the game class. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go inside my game class, and I'm gonna pass all this code that I have here to the room play, okay? So here on the start, on the game class, I will copy all the code from here. Copy, 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 copy. Control C to copy. I will go to my room play and I'll paste it here with Control V. I'm gonna go back to my game room. Now I can delete all this code from here. I don't need it here anymore. So only delete this code here if you have it copied to the playroom. So double check on your playroom if you have the code there. If you have, then you can delete this code from the game room. So here in the game class, I will delete all this code from the start tab, right? And now I have to copy the loop tab. So the loop tab as well, copy all this code from here, Control C. I go to my playroom on the loop tab and I paste it there with Control V. Right, I've pasted here. Now I have my code here, and I can go ahead and delete the code from the game loop, right? So I deleted everything from my game loop, and I have all my code here on the playroom start and playroom loop. But as you can see now, whenever I press play, my game is black because I don't have anything in my game. And whenever I press play, what happens is the game runs the start tab of the game class, and I don't have anything there, and I also don't have anything on the loop tab. So what we want to do is whenever we start the game, I want my game to start running the playroom. And how can I do that? I can do that just by saying room underscore set here on the start tab of the game class, room set. So I'm gonna set a new room with the name play. Play. So I'm setting the playroom to be the new room of my game, to be the current room of my game. And then whenever I press play, you can see that my game works again perfectly, right? And now we have the possibility of changing rooms because now we can control which room we are in, right? By just saying room set. So let me stop my game here and I'll create a new room here called defeat. And I will also create a new room called victory. So the defeat room, I will go there whenever my player base is destroyed. The victory room, I will go there when the enemy base is destroyed. Make sense? So now let's go back to the castle. On the loop tab here, I will put that code back. So if my life, so if self.life is smaller or equal than 0, then, so if my life is smaller or equal than 0, then I will go either to the defeat room or to the victory room, right? So if this castle's life is 0, I have to know which castle is this. Is this the player castle or is this the enemy castle? So after I check if this life is 0, I have to check again if self.team, so if my team is equals player, so if this is the player's base, then that means that my player base was destroyed, so I have to go to the defeat room. So if this is the player base, room underscore set defeat, right? If it's not the player base, it can only be the enemy base. So I will add an else here, and I'll say room underscore set victory. So again, if my life is smaller or equal than 0, I check my team. If my team is player, I go to the defeat room. If it's not player, then it can only be enemy, right? So I go to the victory room. Okay, now what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to my enemy unit. Its attack damage is already 50, that's fine. So I will play my game and I'll wait for 2 hits of my enemies to see if I will change the room, to go to a new room. So 1 hit, just 1 more hit. And there you go. So we go to a black screen because my defeat room is empty, right? And just so we know which room we are going to, I will go inside my defeat room. In the start tab, I'm gonna put here print defeat, and inside my victory room on the start tab, print victory. And now I'll play my game, and I should go to the defeat room once my castle is destroyed, right? So let's wait for 2 enemies to hit my castle and see which room I'm going to. So the second enemy is coming and defeat. So I went to the defeat room. Okay, that's good. I'll go inside my enemy unit here just to put the attack damage back to 1. And now I'm gonna go to my unit and I'm gonna put my attack damage 100. Just to test if whenever I destroy the enemy base, if I go to the victory room. So it will be funny because it will only touch the bat and the bat will die. Okay, but now we destroyed the enemy base and we went to the victory room, so that's working perfectly. That's good. So I'm gonna put my attack damage back to 1. And what I wanna do now is I wanna write some code inside my defeat room to show me a defeat message. So if I'm gonna display some text, I'm gonna use the text functions again. So I'm gonna say here that the defeat text is gonna be a new text, that it's gonna say defeat, and it's gonna be positioned on 0, 0, right? So I press play. Well, just so we can test this defeat room to see if it's working, I don't want to keep always waiting for the enemy to hit my base or for my unit to hit the enemy's base. So instead, I'm gonna go to the game class and I'm gonna make the game to start not on the room play, but to start on the room defeat. And now whenever I press play, I'm already on the room defeat. So I should be able to see my text, but I'm not able to see my text because whenever we create the text color is black, right? The same color as the background. So what I'm gonna do here, I can change the text color. So I can say that the defeat text dot color is equals red. So I want the defeat color to be red. So I press play and now I have the defeat written right in the middle of my screen. I can also make that bigger, right? By using the font size. So I can say that the defeat text dot font size is gonna be 80, maybe. Let's see. Maybe a little bit more. I'll try 120. Let's see how that looks like. That's better. I just want to bring the defeat more to the center now and display it right on top here. Maybe I will even make it bigger. So 150. And then we have to deal with the X and Y positions now to bring it to the middle and up. So I'm going to be trying some values here randomly to see where this defeat's going. So let me bring it to the left first. So minus 50, I think it should be too fill. Yeah. Let's try minus 150. Okay, that's quite better. Minus 170. Okay, so I think that's good for me. So I used minus 250 on the X and 300 on the Y to bring it to the middle and up. And I also made the font size 150, so it's quite big enough for us to see, right? And the next thing I want to do, I would just want to write something here because I want to add an option for us to go from the defeat room back to the play room by pressing space. So I want to display that message that you can actually do that. So I'm gonna say here that my instructions is gonna be a new text, new underscore text that says press space to play again. And this text is gonna be on the position 0 and 0 for now, but later I have to play with those numbers later, right? And these instructions color, I want to be white. And I think for the size, for the font size, it should be fine. Maybe I will make it a little bit bigger. So for the instructions dot font size, I will say that this is equals 50. Yeah, that's quite better. Okay, now I'll play around with the values here for the positioning of my instructions, and I'll actually also change my defeat and position it better on my screen. So give me a minute. Okay, so I'm happy with my defeat room. Actually, I will just bring it up a little bit. Okay, now it's better. So those are the positions I've used and the values I've used for the font size. So you can see my defeat text is on minus 450 and 150, and the font size is 250. And for my instructions, it is minus 300, minus 270 to bring it to the middle and down. And the font size is 50. So that's my defeat room. And I'm gonna do the same for my victory room. And I wanted to have the same layout, the same format, but I'm not gonna do now because I still want to finish the defeat room, right? Because we are not able to press space and play the game again, right? So we're gonna go now to the loop tab, and in the loop tab on the defeat room is gonna keep waiting for the player to press space, and if the player press space, then it will send the player back to the playroom. Okay, so let's try that. So if, and now I can check for keys pressed by saying key was pressed. So if a key was pressed, so which key am I looking for? If it is the space, I have to say to add the brackets here, the quotes, and inside the quotes I just add a space. You could add a letter if you want, or you could add enter if you want the enter, and so on, right? I want the space, so we'll just add the space here. Then, so if I press the key space, then I will room set. I will set the room to be the room play. All right, so whenever I stop and play my game, I'm on the defeat room, I press space, and I go to the playroom. Cool. And now I have to do the same thing for my victory room. My victory room will be basically the same. So I will copy all the start tab from my defeat room, Control C. I will go to my victory room and paste it here. I don't need this print here anymore, so Control V. And I'm gonna make my game to not start on the defeat room, but to start on the victory room, so we can see the victory room. But you can see that now my victory room says defeat in red, and I mean it looks exactly the same as the defeat room because we just copied the defeat room, right? So in the victory room, I don't want it to say defeat, I want it to say victory, and I don't want it to be in red, I want it to be in green. Let's try that. Okay, now victory is a bit bigger than defeat, the word itself, right? So I just want to reposition it a little bit. So I'll bring it 50 pixels more to the left. Okay, now it's centralized again. And it looks good, but I cannot press space to play my game again because I need to copy the loop tab from my defeat room as well. So I copy the loop tab from my defeat room. I paste it on my victory room. So Control C to copy, Control V to paste, right? And now whenever I stop and play my game, if I'm on the victory room, I press space and my game starts again. Okay, so let's try everything to see if everything is working. I'll go to my game. I'll make my game start on the playroom, right? So I press play, I start on the playroom. But before I'm gonna go to my enemy unit, and I will tell my unit to have my enemy unit to have 100 attack damage. And let's see if I'm gonna go to the defeat room and if I can go back to the game room to see if everything is working, right? So took all my life, defeat, press space, I go back to the playroom and everything is working again. That's great. Let me try the victory room now. I'm gonna make my unit have the 100 attack damage, press play, I create a unit, let me create a unit. Oh no, I think they will kill each other. Yeah. Okay, let me make the enemy unit have 1 attack damage again. Press play. And now my unit should be able to defeat their castle in 1 single hit. There you go, we go to the victory room. And I press space and I can play the game again. So that's great. Press save in your game and we will keep going in the next class. See you in the next video. Bye.